So we will look at issues. What do we cover? What will you cover in this meeting? How AI is transforming. We want to see how AI is transforming global journalism. We want also to look at the ethics question when you want to use AI, the risk of information associated with AI, because AI it relies on data. It is data that you feed with you feed AI with that you bring back. So if people had fed AI with data, wrong data, it is garbage in, garbage out. So you need, even when you say reframe and you added something, you need also to be able to fact check that was this fact very true. But sometimes what oversight or what you as a younger journalist, what should you look out for when you want to use AI? We have known that we cannot run away from it. That's very basic. So these are some of the things that, so what should you look out for by the time you want to employ the use of AI as an early career journalist in Nigeria, in Africa? The first question that I want you to ask yourself, which is normal, is AI in the newsroom, because campus mirror is a newsroom. That's a newsroom is where people, journalists come together, have a name. It has become a news, and they are publishing story or giving information out. So campus mirror is a newsroom. Wherever you are writing for is a newsroom. So we're looking at what is AI within the newsroom. And I say AI for journalism is the use of intelligent computer system to research, to write, to fact check, and distribute news. Because AI can do all this for you, help you to distribute the news, and making sure that newsroom work faster and more efficient. So when you talk about artificial intelligence for newsroom, one, you are looking at it is computer-based intelligence system that you can use for research, you can use for fact checking, you can use for news distribution, and then it make your work more efficient. I remember before you do a story, you likely need like 3 or 4 hours to do one story. And that's my practice. Now, if it is AI that generates the headline for you, it means that it's AI that will guide you through all that you write. And you also remember that your headline, your first paragraph, must always have covered whatever you want to say inside that story. Or your first introductory paragraph should have covered it. So if it is AI, it means that you have to depend on AI completely for such story. This is why it is important that I suggest that you use it to generate facts. Now, if you are looking for facts, how many, maybe you've gone to OOU site, they can't give you the number of students. Or you want to do a story, OSU in the 80s and OSU, the OOU in the 80s, OAU now. You want to know how many students were first admitted to OOU, because data is important in what you're saying. You can't just write a story without data. So AI can help you source for different platforms to have an average of how many students were the first set of students that were admitted. You understand what I mean? And then AI can now tell you, but AI may not get that accurate information if peradventure, oh, you did not put it there, or it was not online. When AI give you a figure, please check again, because AI that gives you a figure is based on the figure that somebody has put inside there. And if I want to manipulate AI, I can start putting wrong information that when you start searching, you are getting a wrong information. So what am I trying to tell you? Make sure that you fact check every fact that AI gives to you. Use different AI platforms. Gemini, will talk about that and all of that, because it can actually confuse you. And when you do a story, and oftentimes people can forge that story with um, wrong data, you won't look like a serious journalist. So always know that as much as AI is good for you, AI it relies on data, and it is based on the data that is available. It is garbage in, garbage out. AI is not human. If you say Falakami is a dark lady, Except somebody change it and say, Falakemi is not only dark, but she's tall. What AI will say is Falakemi is a dark lady because that's the information that AI has. And that's why sometimes you don't have to depend on AI completely until you work on it. So just know that this is what we're trying to say. Other thing is, what are the key value for journalists today, for AI? AI has improved newsroom efficiency. You just have to know. Like I told you before, to actually do a story, for me to do a story, what I used to do, I'll be gathering material, I'll be gathering facts. It can take you like 1 month, 2 months, sometimes to gather all the facts. But today you can sit down with all the AI, Google, and all of them and search for material. There's what we even call Wayback Machine. Wayback Machine will go into, if you know how to use it, it will go into things that have been deleted from website that existed before but did not exist again. It will go and get, like, there are people who are doing something about Sketch. I know that most of you do not know which newspaper is Sketch. Newspaper, Sketch used to be Oyo Ogundo newspaper, Southwest newspaper. It was raining then. Sketch and Tribune used to compete. We only had Tribune today. Sketch was already gone because of bad management. So there are stories that were published in the 80s, early 90s that you cannot have access to now because you don't have hard copy of such paper now. But Wayback Machine can help you get those facts or story that we are doing. So there are AI tools that can actually bring it that way. There are AI tools that can help you generate ideas for what you want to write. So it is important for you that AI has come to help us to make efficiency more and more important. Before, for those of us who know Nkuliko, he used to work with Sponge. He said that when they write a story, they will not have to send it to headquarters. Maybe take another. You don't have to do that again. It's not even AI. It's just technology. You can do your story, send it to your headquarters in UK or US now, and do a very good story. So technology and AI, let's just say AI because AI is just part of technology. It's not technology at large. It's not the only thing that is there. So it has helped us to improve our newsroom efficiency. It has strengthened our investigative reporting through data analysis. You can use AI to analyze. Now, when you want to write a story about these events, which I think that we will help you to write, you look at aggregate because this is how to generate data. How many are males? How many are females? What is the percentage of male and what is the percentage of female in this meeting? These are data. You can gather your own data by yourself. So suppose that you want to do a story about this. Okay, we have, let's say we're around 15 or 20. Okay, 2 or 3 males, no, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 males. So if the total is 20, that's only like how many percent of that male? That's like 1/5, right? Compared to female. That means that we have 80% male, 20%, no, 80% female, 20% male. That is data. That's what they call data. So in data analysis, you can just say, tell me the ratio of male and female in this all. We are 20. So AI can help you do that analysis and give you data that you need to do that story immediately instead of cracking your brain. So these are benefits of AI. And people are saying that we have concentrated only on ChatGPT because that's what you know. But there are a lot of other tools that are available. There are some that can only help you generate ideas, only ideas. There are some that when you finish a story, you can actually put it there and say which angle is missing in this story. And it will tell you that you did not address this side of the story. So it is not balanced. So AI can help you to generate good data, help you to do analysis of data as fast as possible, making your work easier. We're just talking about value now. Now, it enhances audience engagement because now, if I begin to break down the data, we had a meeting, 4 males, 16 female. That's 1%, 1/5, which means the ratio. So when you bring figure, it shows that you know what you're saying. People want to be able to see that you are not just writing story. We are giving them facts and evidence. Average age of the participant is between 16 and 22. What are you doing? You are giving data so people know that not just you just write story. So you have to know that data is very important and fact is also important. Don't just write story without facts. Now, if you are doing that's I'm just telling you that even this what we are doing, you can say, okay, we had a team from Lagos from AFYP, two male, one female. One was doing this, one was doing reporting, one was with them recording what they're saying. Average age or mean of the people is between so and so. This is important in your writing. You can't just write story without facts, without data. Data is really important, but AI can help you get those data now. And what is data is simple. You can gather your data by yourself. I'll try to gather one data for you now. Population of people, or students, or journalists in this place, 4/20. That is if you are 20. I'm just assuming that you are 20. Okay, let me just be sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, we're almost 20. Yeah. So data is when you say there were 18 participants, that is data. There were 4 males in that meeting, and 4 minus 18, 14 females. That is data. Average age of participant is between population of the age of participant is between 18 or maybe 16 to 20 or 22. So what will be the average age of that means it will be like in between that thing, because this is data you are trying, but make sure that your data is correct. So this is how to gather data. This is how to infuse data into your story. If you have, it can help you. So the AI can support your storytelling ability, which is important. What are the storytelling? You know, after writing, you can say, turn this into a story format. You can turn it into normal story format, but you can also say, turn it into a new story format. That's why we say it's about prompting. But whatever you do, if you gather data that is, you did not go and collect data by yourself, it's AI. There's nothing for you, because when we get to who owns the news that you now produce, the problem is we don't say that we use another person's work. And see, I've seen cases where we selected somebody from South Africa for one of our fellowship, and they had to write that they have to sack that journalist from their organization because she had been using AI to write stories, and they just discovered. So don't use AI to write your story. In fact, for keen observer, there's a way when I know it is AI you use, because there are telltales. If you use AI, when you see a AI story, can you recognize? How will you recognize? Eh?
But I think frequently it says in a word where in the lead. So I think something is very frequent. It says in a word. Let's assume it's talking about who you now. It's going to say in a room of Polaris, in the room of Polaris of university. In a word where even for this is.
Well, that may be, but that may not be. There's one common one that people will know if you don't know how to use.
It's like the human interest about the story.
Eh?
The human interest about the story.
Human interest. What will happen to it?
It will lost emotional connection. Human.
Okay. Okay, we'll get into it. I'm just asking. Oftentimes, AI bold some word within the writing. If you don't know how to remove that bold, you will bold some words that people will know. Oftentimes, you will see a dash often. You'll see a dash often. So I'm just giving you this small one that editor will also always know. I won't tell you everything so that so that you will not be using AI for all the thing, or you don't think that people don't know. So these are issues that you need to know as good. So when you use AI to support your storytelling and all of that, the question is, who holds the story? You can now say written by Ayodele Ogundeji when it is written by AI. Because that's what we do. We use AI to generate everything. And you say byline, Oladimeji, Olapeju, when the byline is not the byline. So the question you want to is, whenever you use AI, always be truthful. And the best way to actually do it is, if you don't want to use AI completely, if you don't want to be known, when you do all your research, sit down and rewrite it in your own word. Don't completely pick all the word of AI. You are not the owner. If what you just do, craft a story for me, rewrite it and humanize it, and then you now humanize it. Now it now look like a real human rights story, human angle story. You now say written by Ogundele Oladimeji. You are not accountable. I've done a story. We have a newspaper we call Nigeria Grassroots News, and I think that I've asked Noga that you guys must write story when we finish. It's part of our key performance index. Anywhere we go, that we need to publish stories that you guys do. So Nigeria Grassroots, we write about communities, what happened in your communities, not really what happened in Abuja. So we want story that is not very common. Story within Agawe, market in Agawe, stand life in Agawe, sport in Agawe. These are stories you won't get in Guardian and all of them, because they are very unique stories. They are called community journalism story. So I've done a story like that, and I said that this story was written with the help of AI. It doesn't remove anything without me. That does not mean that I copy it completely, you understand? But all the facts, all the data, everything that I use in that whatever was gotten through the sources of AI. I can't remember what story I was doing, but it has to do with campus. And I can't go to Enugu, I can't go to whatever. I can't go to all those places. And I should have used people, I should have called people. Maybe there was strike at that time. So what I've been reading about the experience of students on those campuses, I think I was reading something about press freedom on campuses. So what has changed? How are school maltreating them? So I know that some have done some story around press freedom in different campuses. I got majority of my facts, that one-on-one fact from UI, but I wanted to write a story that covers whatever happens across Nigeria. So for the Southwest, I was able to get press freedom issues. What's the situation with campus journalists across Nigeria? So I got maybe in Unijos, I had somebody in Unijos, but I needed touch from almost every angle of Nigeria. So I went to online, used AI, and it gave me what Premium Times have written about press freedom in Nsukka, press freedom in Rivers State University, and students that have been harassed and all those things. I just reframe whatever they have done. And I say, speaking with all, I just said, experiences of campus journalists in Nsukka is like this and like this and like this. You understand? But I didn't call somebody in Nsukka that time. But there have been experiences that have been documented, so I just used that one. So I said that some of the facts presented in this story is through the help of AI. I did not even say it's through premium. So you need to be accountable. That's where the problem is, where you don't want to, you can't use somebody's material and take over it. Yes, people say copyright issue. Just know how to copy it right. But even in copy it in right too, you should also give kudos to whoever that is. One other thing that you will notice when it comes to fully AI writing is that bias in training data and output. Like I said, AI will only give you data that they are fed with it. Now, whatever biases that have been fed with that story, because you see, every story you write has an angle that you are trying to push. If you want to say that social management is bad, you will get sources and then that show that they are bad, and then you now get sources where you say, no, it's not bad. But you will always use, because we're all human beings, the angle you are trying to push, you will get 10 sources or 7 sources 5 will say, this is my experience with Osu, because you have an angle that you are pushing. And as a journalist, you shouldn't be pushing your own angle. You understand what I'm trying to say? But the fact remains that now, if it's that kind of story that I now reference or AI reference for me, I will say Osu or OOU is bad based on the data that is available. But in actual fact, that data was presented by somebody to the AI. You understand what I mean? So because of that, you need to be careful. That's why human angle or getting human source, but even human being too can also lie. If somebody want to tell you what happened, maybe God forbid fight break out now. She's our friend, she's our friend, and then she was the one that first of all slapped her, and nobody was there. If I ask question, he was the one that she was. You can actually manipulate it to give the impression that our friend is not the one that is victim. So you need to find out all this when you are using. Then when it comes to transparency, how transparent are you when you use AI to gather material? This is really, 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 really important. Transparency is important when you use AI. And so, how transparent will you like to be when you use AI? Do you tell people you use AI? When the majority of your news, if it is 60% of AI material that you are using, don't say it's only 10%. You and I know when you use another material like 60% and you're not giving the impression that it was you that write it, that's not transparency. Yes, you will get speed. Maybe you are representing a newspaper or a broadcast house in OOU. And they said, we heard that there was a strike in OOU this month and few students were injured or something, something, something. And you are not in OOU that morning. You can quickly use and get story. But the story you get may be manipulated story or manipulated data. Somebody want to convince that police brutality is serious. About 15 students have been injured. Maybe one person has not been injured at all. You understand what I mean? So even though AI help you with your speed, but there's also the challenge that's why you need to actually be very careful. Now, what does that mean for you and the work you do as a journalist? Public trust will be very, very people won't trust you. If today you say 15 students have been injured, and in the real sense of it, it's only one student that was injured, but you just want to escalate it to make it look like, or if tomorrow it is 20 students that you have been injured, but because the management say, just say one person was seriously or critically injured, while two people are, it's about language. You can say the same thing. Why two people suffer minor injury, and that minor injury, they've broken the guy's leg. Is that a minor injury? So your public trust in your work will diminish, and it will affect your valuation at the end of the day. And you have to be very careful. Now, let's use as case study of AI use. How many of us watch TVC? They started the AI anchor. Yeah. But they don't use it during the day. They use it later in the night. They have Olamide and all of that. And you can go and check, watch. They have the real Olamide, and then they have a clone Olamide that was anchored, that became an anchor. So they call something AI anchor on air. So they have Olamide, they have like 4 names like that. And those AI can even cast news in 4 language, Igbo, Pidgin, and all of that. So please check the way AI is used. All that is the one that I can actually tell you to read, because there's a router use of it. There are other one that I use, but this is Nigeria example where they've used AI anchor. And one of the reasons why I was doing that podcast with the executive editor was, do you think that AI will take the place of journalists? If I ask you that question, what do you think? Will AI take the space of journalists, or how? If it is no, what? Okay, so what's your evidence?
Yes, sir. AI cannot take the place of journalism. Because, like now, if something happens, if an event happens like this one now, it is woman that will
How to put the data there?
document what happened.
AI cannot
So
rush
AI can
here.
only help. We can. That's it.
Yeah, I just want to be sure. AI cannot take journalist's job, but AI can improve journalists' work. But journalists that do not know their job will lose their job to AI. So you need to understand that. Because if you still don't know how to use it, you can lose it. So TVC, I need you to go and watch TVC AI anchors and see how AI anchors is used. So they deliver bulletins, they now deliver bulletins, they do screen. They are the first that actually started using AI anchor, which is really important. They can do multilingual newscasting. So if you don't know how to speak English very well, or if you don't know how to speak Igbo, and you cannot work with it, the possibility is that I think Ogun State also do translation into Ijebu and all those. Yes, they do it. So if you are going to do community journalism and you don't understand Ijebu, let's assume you are doing Ijebu community journalism and you don't know how to speak Ijebu, how will you speak Ijebu? So you must know how to use AI to actually balance your story. So you are or something the way they used to say. I tried to learn Ijebu all through my years. I couldn't learn how to speak it. So, but so this is a practical way of using AI within the newsroom. You can speak Igbo, you can speak beach pidgin through the use of AI. But the challenge that we have is this. You can, despite the fact it can enhance your content production because it can actually work faster than human being in casting their name, but they are also susceptible to error. Because like you said, AI cannot rush to site of where they're having problem or they're having crisis and go and gather news and say, I'm here, I want to interview you. It will take a human being to go to such places. It will take a human being to go and do real, because to get sources, AI will not be, does not know how to look for sources. If I'm going to do a story about Osu, I will not have to come here and talk to students within OOU. I can't go and talk to AI. So editorial accountability is also important when you use AI, particularly for the management of editor of Campus Mirror. What is your editorial accountability and what are the rules that you have set for the minimum use of AI? How can you judge when one of your journalists has crossed the bar of using AI and there are issues in that story? So these are questions you need to ask yourself. And when it comes to human angle of the story, there's a limit to what AI can do. If you see the real Olamide and the clone anchor Olamide, even though they look the same, they almost look the same, but if you look at it, you will know that this is not the real Olamide. This is the real Olamide because Olamide and the other four people just watch their news in the morning or during the day, and then now see how their clone anchor that bear the name work. The only thing is that if you want to watch their AI anchor, you have to wait till 12 midnight down because it is then they use it too. What about regulation issue? I asked the person they need to answer. He said that by the time you want to use AI, these challenges with the use of AI that you must know. How many of us have heard of deep fakes? The person will be just be talking like you and all of that and giving misinformation. The misinformation threatens trust. AI can give you a lot of misinformation if you are not very careful. Because like we said, AI depends on data. And it is garbage in, garbage out. But at the same time, AI can also be used to fact check. And then there's something we call low resources language with AI or large resource languages. Now, there are things that when it comes to African languages and knowledge, there are things that we don't have enough data. That is only the Western world that put the data there based on their knowledge. And those data are not correct. I cannot say that I know you and I know your father, I know your mother than you. Is that possible? Especially when I've not been to your house. So for me to be claiming that I know you, I know your father, and I know, even I'm not living with you, there's no way you will not know your parents more than I do. So some of the African stories and facts that we have today, because the data were not input, the data were not put inside the computer by Africans. It is based on the knowledge of the white people that put it there. And they have a lot of assumption about whites. Do you know that at this age, some people still believe that Africans live on the tree? You'll be shocked when you travel and you hear, when you say, where did you come from? And you say Nigeria, and somebody is asking, where is Nigeria? Nigeria? And you're saying, are you living under this world? How will you not have heard about Nigeria? With the largest population that we had and all of those things. So ethical and legal undertaking are also important when you want to use. What are the ethical issues that are associated with the use of the fact you want to use? You will see that there is normal AI and there is premium AI. Most of us are not using the premium AI, the paid one. In fact, most newsrooms go on low 30 mason, but sometimes it can really be costly. And the premium AI will give you a bit advanced fact than the normal Google. You know that. So don't rely heavily on AI facts as much as good as it is. So you need to also look at the legal and ethical implication of AI use and the fact that is presented. Because your story, you can be sued for misinformation. You understand what I mean? You can be sued for misinformation. That is why those who write book will say that this is not a guide. Maybe somebody writes book on how to become millionaire, and then the person followed that principle and it did not work. The person can come and sue you that you gave him advice that you know is not working. So those who write how to become millionaire, they will say, this is just an advice. I will not be liable to any legal implication that may arise of your use. You understand what I mean? So as a journalist, you don't want to say that what I write is I shame my back. You can't do that because you are supposed to have done your own work and do your own work very, very well. So while you are using your AI, like we have, there are several of them that you can use. Don't you only concentrate on ChatGPT. There are a lot of other ones. I think I have my phone that I wanted to. So AI also has bias from non-African background. I've shared that because most of the input, most of the data that we have with AI is not generated by Africans. And so they cannot tell us more than, once we le mo mommy ẹnìkan ju ẹni tó bí lọ. Or if you are the child of somebody, I think they put it, I don't know whether you guys can understand this in Yoruba, because I know most of you do not understand Yoruba these days. Only that is Osho that will know his mother more than another person. So if you say, that mommy is very gentle, say, which mommy is gentle? Maybe because we are outside. Let's get inside and see my mommy. And meanwhile, that mommy, to bad data, the mommy look like somebody who cannot beat anybody, who cannot insult. But some African mommy, they are blessed with tongue. By the time they talk to you, so what am I trying to say? The bias of non-African interpretation of some of this data is also there. So when it is African data and African meaning that you are looking for, AI may not be able to help you. In fact, it has been said now that 90% of data in AI were generated by Western-oriented media that uses only English. Meanwhile, we use Yoruba, we use Igbo, we use things. All those languages are facing. And sometimes you don't even get direct translation of some Yoruba into English. You know that? There's no more how you try that you can get the direct translation of the meaning of some Yoruba, not to not talk of Igbo, not to not talk. So you also have to be very careful when you are using AI. What are the biases that are there? And sometimes we don't pay attention because we are under pressure to deliver the story. You just type fact about Osu. Osu in 1983 when it was established. How many students? How many Ijebu students? How many non-indigenous were there? It is based on what was already there. Unfortunately, you'll be shocked that most of those data are put in by people who never come to Nigeria at all. So how will that individual know more than people who are here in those days? Now, there's a little I can tell about Osu from 1996 till now. You guys will have a better understanding of it than I do. But 1992 to 1996, I will have a better understanding of what Osu looked like and what we experienced than you. So, if you are telling me about Osu in 1992 to 1996, there's no way you have that good and craft experience of what student life looked like in those years. Because I was here, I lived it, I saw it, I saw everything. Or you want to describe the strike we had and we were home for, you can't describe it like me that experienced it. So be careful of the data. These are ethical issues. These are key challenges about the use of AI. Another thing is the fear of job displacement and skill gaps. It is being proven now that we are relying more on data from AI than our thinking. Just Google it. Particularly children of these days. We don't use our brain a lot. Just Google it. Or check it in AI. And what is actually the, you are saying something? Okay. So how has that impact on our ability to think? AI is reducing our ability to think. Before, things you have to use your brain. When you had only calculator, but now you can use AI to do a lot of things. Storytelling has become so easy because you don't have to put a lot of energy. You don't even look at your grammar because when you have used AI to write your story, you just say put it in good grammar, in good grammar. Oh my basic grammar fine. Oh, the linear that is editing. Meanwhile, when we're writing, I will do the draft first. I'll have to rewrite like 3 or 4 times because I'm not sure whether I use words where I used to use, but AI can eliminate all the grammar issue for you. So oftentimes, it's not encouraging thinking. It's not encouraging logical thinking. And if you can't think logically, you can't relate in this age. So as much as you want to depend on your AI to write your story, just know that the capacity of your brain to a certain level, you are reducing it. Because this is, if you give your brain that task to do, your brain can actually produce something that AI cannot produce. Because human brain is seem far more intelligent than but unfortunately, we are delegating the critical thinking, we are delegating logical thinking more into AI, and we will run into problem. Now, one of other challenges that we face is over dependence. Most of us are now depending on AI. Should be story. In fact, for you guys, even your final year thesis now, AI can write it for you. You just look for story. You just look for headline. And then by the time you have finished it, you now go to humanize it. By the time they humanize it, you they put it into AI. Also, zero AI. But when they ask you what is inside that thing, unfortunately, most people will not even read it again. They now say, give us the opening kini of Mokoto one day. So these are challenges that AI can bring into any profession, particularly journalism. And I think you to watch around it. Censorship. What should now will be done when it comes to AI censorship? I think one of the best censorship that I would recommend is place a self-censorship that I will not depend on AI completely for my professional excellence. I will use AI. I will maximize the benefit. But I will not, because I've said one of the key challenges is over dependent. And if you are not very careful, because now there are a lot of AI tools that is coming. We're in Abuja for maybe a week or two for CGID conference, and they are coming up with more AI tools that can generate story idea, that can get you all the facts that you need. Then regulatory surveillance. Government is involved in the use of AI today. Even though when it comes to privacy and data and all of those laws, they are saying that government should not be involved in regulation. So this is controlled by government. When it is controlled by government and people are saying that there should be rule to the use of AI to everything. If you also notice that it's not only in journalism, even in medicine, people are now using AI to perform surgery, automated surgery and all of that. So, and if you are not very careful, you now have human beings who are just robots. Human beings will not think. Human beings will not. Maybe before we say Google it. Now it's not AI it. Small, we are using the capacity to use our brain. We don't know. There are things before that where they ask you question like this. Ó ti ń jáde láti inú brain. Nísìnyí tí wọ́n bá béèrè, ní sùúrù. Ó ti gbé kíni ẹ̀ jáde. It means that those things are not stored in your brain again. And you get to a point when there won't be anything in the brain tó bá ṣọ́ra. So I love AI. I use AI, but I don't let AI become a god that if I don't see it, I cannot work. So there's and people are arguing that government should not be involved in regulating of AI. But why self-regulation has failed, I think that government should also be involved. That's my opinion. I stand to be corrected. You can. Then there's algorithm-based censorship and information filtering. Algorithm is also controlling some of these things. We're looking at shifting power dynamics as digital platforms become new gatekeeper. See, you don't have control about data that you have supplied, that you have willingly supplied to AI or to computer. So you can determine how much information, and to actually get the best use of AI, they will say sign in, so that how many of you know that to use AI, particularly ChatGPT, they will say use your Gmail or something. I would rather use something else. So implication for journalist independence. How independent can you be when you use AI completely for what you do? It means that your thought is not independent. Your thought or whatever you put down is controlled by some other human being or by AI. So if you say that you are independent, how independent are you? Because most of the things that you now push out, either as a broadcaster, as a journalist, there are things that you get. So, and we are asking for journalism independence or journalist independence. There's a challenge of independence that we need to think about. So these are some of the issues and the freedom that you cannot talk about. As a young journalist, what should you do when it comes to AI use, which is something that I think that we should think about? One, build AI literacy through training. Know what AI is all about. Build knowledge. More. Follow ChatGPT, follow Gemini, and all of the AI tools that are available. Learn something about it. Before you become a friend with somebody, learn who they are. Learn what is their name, where did they come from, because they have a way of influencing you. So don't just jump into AI use if you don't know what AI is useful for, the challenges, the implications, and all of that. For young journalists, I will encourage you, before you start using AI, do a lot of study about AI. What can it do? What it cannot do? What limits do you want to set for yourself as a young journalist? These are issues that you need to think about.